there, Erika Cole, the church attorney, jumping in with this legal response from an attorney with over 20 years of experience providing legal services to denominations and churches. This is regarding a really unfortunate matter that has just hit the news. This is about an FBI raid on a Christian organization that's been under investigation apparently for a period of time. There are multiple arrests, and let me just dig in here. FBI agents and local law enforcement apparently searched a property that was owned by this organization that's based in North Houston, although they seem to have property and operations in, they called it a multi-state operation. So they seem to be operated in other places, including Michigan. And this, as they call him, an evangelical pastor and his assistant had roles in, I'm quoting here, a forced labor and money laundering conspiracy. So again, whenever these kinds of things hit the news, and unfortunately they are becoming more and more common, I'm always looking at this from a legal lens and wanting to highlight the things that I want you to be able to take away, aside from just the, I guess, shock and unfortunate nature of it all. So the article really details serious allegations of forced labor. So individuals who are coerced into working without pay, enduring psychological abuse, deprivation, and physical punishment. So these things fell under federal statutes such as the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. And the victims were cited using terms that those of us who have been raised in the church are very familiar with, right? So the term armor bearer, right? I'm very familiar with a lot of times in churches, the lead pastor will have an armor bearer or more than one armor bearer that is assisting him in his role. They often travel with him. They're often with him during services. They're kind of serve as kind of security as well. But apparently, in this instance, there was a lot of strict control over the armor bearers and strict control over their movements, their living conditions. So when you talk about the whole idea that people were forced to serve without pay, I just feel like in the church environment that can be really complicated because churches are largely fueled by volunteers, right? Like lots of nonprofits, but especially in churches. So I think from a legal standpoint, this can be a slippery slope. Obviously, the way that these people were behaving is a whole other level because there seems to be a level of physical abuse as well, which is not something I've ever observed, and I just think is horrific if the facts pan out at all. But we do see situations where there's a lot of demand perhaps on people in roles without compensation. So I just think this is a great opportunity for, as outlandish as some of these situations appear to be, it is an opportunity for churches to be able to examine really how they manage volunteers, what the expectations are, and maybe to be able to package things in a better way, perhaps. In this instance, also the numbers are ridiculous in the second part of the allegation here, which is money laundering and financial crimes. So in this case, the defendants face charges for conspiracy to commit money laundering. The scheme allegedly involved taking in donations of over $50 million and using these funds to finance personal luxury. So you've heard me address these kinds of issues. I've written about it in my love offerings guide. I've talked about it in many conferences and events. And as you may know, I have an upcoming summit that's happening. And one of the speakers that I specifically wanted to have involved is a CPA who works with churches and helps them manage the financial operations, because that is what often gets churches tripped up. In this case, it seems like the IRS has a strong role, and the serious financial investigations that are at play. So, whenever we're managing money, and it's impossible for a church to operate effectively without it, we got to make sure that we have the right systems in place. And I find that while, again, I don't see things generally that go to this extreme, many churches don't invest in the what I kind of call the back office, right? Those back office operations, and that's really one of the major reasons why we provide the resources that we do, and kind of what we're planning to share and address at the upcoming summit. So I really want to make sure that you are aware of this case. I'm giving it some, want to make sure that I'm giving you some legal insights that you can apply for your church. The third and final thing I want to mention is um, this whole multi-state operation. I love the fact that many churches, so I'm based here in the DMV. And so we cross state lines just regularly because, again, it's an easy triangle hub. And there are many churches that have multi-state operations. You need to be especially aware of the requirements that go from state to state. So in this case, one of the allegations is a conspiracy and multi-state operation. So it was a coordinated takedown that spanned Michigan, Florida, Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina. It's a 10-count federal indictment that includes forced labor, conspiracy to commit forced labor, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. So it really is critical that churches understand the legal impacts of what they do. What happens inside church and in the operation of a church is not simply what happens on a Sunday morning, right? Those operations that are really key to how churches can be effective. That's a big part of what I get to do, what our team really works on. And so this isn't just about criminal allegations. It raises profound legal questions spanning religious freedom, financial integrity, multi-state activities. It's a reminder that religious authority can be dangerously abused. And when it comes to operating honestly in today's climate, it's more important than ever to ensure that you have the insights that you need to avoid unwanted government scrutiny of this type. So I'm inviting you to be a part of the Church Law and Leadership Summit. Again, it's coming up on September 18th. It's virtual, so no matter where in the world you are, you can join us. All the details are going to be below, but we're going to unpack how law confronts these issues. And really, our theme of For Such a Time as This is really just a way that we combine the fact that as people of faith, we also have to be people of action. And the action that I would love for you to take is to sign up for the upcoming Church Law and Leadership Summit. And let's make sure that we have this time together where we can dig more deeply into these areas that are really critical in today's time. All right. Blessings. Look forward to seeing you there. Bye.